We are back from their video, and today we are talking about the Browns quarterback situation and the Browns offense as a whole. A lot of question marks. This is a team that potentially has a very low ceiling this year. A lot of really weird situations that the Browns have found themselves in at quarterback, at running back, at receiver. We're going to talk about it though and jump right into it. But before we do, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I would really appreciate that, and leave a like on the video. It does help out the channel a whole lot. But yeah, anyways, I want to keep this pretty focused on the Browns. First off, for quarterback, Deshaun Watson, he's not playing this year. I'm not sure why he's even on the depth chart. I mean, I guess technically he is, but Shedeur Sanders should be in this quarterback room. So just everyone pretend that Deshaun Watson actually says Shedeur Sanders. But yeah, so Shedeur Sanders, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel is our quarterback room for this year. We have Jerome Ford. They drafted Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson at running back. Wide receiver 1, Jerry Jeudy, and then Cedric Tillman and Deontay Johnson, who bounced around teams a lot last year, are there for wide receiver. David Njoku still there at tight end. Dwan Jones, Joel Bitonio, Ethan Pochik, I think that's how you say that. I'm sorry. Wyatt Teller and Jack Conklin for the offensive line. And yeah, so first off, for Deshaun Watson, we will at least mention him. Obviously, last year went down with the Achilles tear. I believe he ruptured it again, I think, while rehabbing. He's out for a long time. He wasn't very good when he was healthy. He kind of destroyed his own career. Is what it is. On to the next guy. So, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. This leaves a, honestly, kind of hilarious quarterback room. There's a lot of guys in very different spots in their career. Joe Flacco is at the very, very end, just kind of trying to still, provide anything he can to a team to kind of help out. Then you have Kenny Pickett, who's just trying to stay in the NFL at this point. It went pretty poorly in Pittsburgh, and then, back up for Philadelphia. Technically, he is a Super Bowl champion, though. And then this year they drafted Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. However, they drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, Shedeur in the 5th round. Not really sure why they took Gabriel so high and then Shedeur later, but still, whatever. That's where we found ourselves for Cleveland. I want to start by saying I don't know why you would play Joe Flacco this year. You know what he can do. He isn't a long-term guy. I don't think we really care. We're not trying to win as many games as possible, as weird as that sounds. We are trying to find an answer at quarterback long-term if you are Cleveland. Joe Flacco isn't that. Not sure why you'd really play him. So that leaves us with Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. Now, just to rewind real quick, though, Joe Flacco, if you're trying to give someone time, like maybe you threw in Kenny Pickett and he's terrible, you don't want to put in a rookie yet, yeah, start Flacco for a week, give a rookie a week to prepare, maybe, something like that. But I seriously don't know what you benefit from by keeping guys that are potentially your franchise quarterback on the bench while Joe Flacco throws 4 interceptions. It doesn't do you any good. So as for Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, I'm going to be honest, I never thought I would have to say this, but I do think Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. I think he was the better prospect. I think he was a better college player. And I think the odds of him being a better NFL player are higher than that of Dylan Gabriel's. That's just, I think, yeah, Shedeur fell far. I don't think he's a worse quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. I just don't. Gabriel, he's an average 4th round, 5th round prospect. I mean, I think the 3rd round was absolutely wild to take him in, to be perfectly honest with you. Shedeur has a much higher ceiling. He's a pretty good improviser. He has a nice deep ball. He's very accurate. He's a rhythm passer. There's a lot of things Sanders does well. And I understand all of the critiques. Even myself, I made a video. I was not high on Shedeur Sanders. I had him going 3rd overall just because I thought the Giants were going to reach like they did with Daniel Jones. That was it. I said many times in that video that I was doing what I thought they were going to do, not what I would have done. I thought Sanders was a 1st round prospect, 2nd round at the worst, but 5th round is crazy, to be honest with you. Sanders is a capable quarterback. He's not a 5th round prospect. He is a probably 2nd round prospect would be, I think, the fair grade on him, maybe 1st round, but to have him in the 5th, I don't really agree with that, to be honest. I understand the character concerns are there, and it is a valid thing to be worried about. But at the end of the day, if there's anything that will humble him, it will be sliding from potentially a top 5 pick to the 5th round. So as for the character stuff, I'm not going to get super into it because I want to focus more on the field stuff that the Browns need to kind of see this year. So yeah, let's go Dylan Gabriel here. I don't really know what I would expect from him, to be honest. I don't know what you're really hoping to see out of Dylan Gabriel out there. I don't think he's going to extend plays the way that Shedeur can. I don't think he's going to be as accurate as Shedeur is. To be honest with you, I would start either Kenny Pickett or Shedeur Sanders week 1. And here's the reason why I say Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has NFL experience, and at the very least, you are putting a guy out there that has potentially higher upside than that of someone like Joe Flacco or any of the rookies. So you're just kind of saying, okay, this is someone that, like, if we happen to really hit on, he could be our long-term guy. But if not, we have some rookies behind him. But this way, we're not throwing either rookie week 1 against the Bengals and saying, go play football. We're having them sit, learn, observe, give them more time before potentially giving them the starting job. I think that is what Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel both need, like, a lot, is to sit and learn a little bit. I don't think either one of those guys are week 1 starters. I think, honestly, having Kenny Pickett there, you're getting someone that can give you an upside. You're getting someone that has NFL experience, like I've already said, and you're getting someone that, at the very least, will kind of buy you time in a way before saying, okay, let's give Sanders a shot. Okay, let's give Gabriel a shot. Because here's the thing. You can only really tell so much in the offseason to where I don't think you're really going to feel overly confident one way or another for starting Gabriel or Sanders. So I think Pickett gives you more time to figure that out, and also potentially some good games. Because Kenny Pickett, who knows, maybe he has some weird breakout year or something. Do I think that's going to happen? No, but I think from the coach's standpoint, it's like, okay, it's a young guy. Maybe he'll be good, and we won't worry about the rookie thing. Or maybe he won't, and then we'll put the rookie in there. That's why I don't see Joe Flacco fitting into this situation here, because he doesn't give you a long-term answer. He doesn't give you a lot of upside. He doesn't give you a great athlete. Like, there's just nothing. Like, you could have a good game from Flacco, but what does one game mean in the grand scheme of things if you still don't have an answer at quarterback for the next few seasons to come? As for the surrounding cast, and this is where things get real shaky for me. I'm not very high on the Browns this year. I'll talk about, a lot more of this as the season gets closer and we do more of these videos, but just off the top of my head in these kind of brief videos I do like this, there's just not a lot of talent. And I hate to say it that way, but there's just not. I think Jerry Jeudy's good. I really do. Cedric Tillman, I think, can be good. Deontay Johnson, I have no idea what to expect from him. I mean, he has good games, and then he throws tantrums, and then he gets banged up with his ankle. I have no idea. I am not counting on Deontay Johnson, though, at all. So to me, that wide receiver 3 is absolutely up for grabs. Maybe Jamari Thrash gets in there and he's wide receiver 3. Maybe he booms and he goes wide receiver 2. I don't know. But someone has to step up, because this is not necessarily a surrounding cast you want to throw a rookie quarterback into anyways. And not to skip over running back. This is going to look really weird without Nick Chubb not being in a Browns uniform. I would assume they would re-sign him if they didn't draft 2 running backs and already have Jerome Ford. I don't think Chubb's on this team this year, which is sad. I love Nick Chubb. It's sad he has to go out that way, at least in Cleveland. I do hope he bounces back healthy and finds a good home somewhere else to kind of finish out his career in. But yeah, I think this is officially Jerome Ford, Quinton Judkins season, Dylan Sampson as well. But here's what I will say, because I've said before, I'm not high on the Browns this year. I don't think they'll be very good. But you now have a running back room that is more than capable of taking the stress off of the quarterback, whether that's Dillon Gabriel or Kenny Pickett or Shedeur Sanders or even Joe Flacco. You should at least have a somewhat sustainable, solid, and consistent running back room with Jerome Ford, Quinton Judkins, and Dylan Sampson. And honestly, if that's your identity this year, so be it. You know, if your quarterback situation is just so weird this year and you need another year to get this really pinned down, okay, rely on the running game a little bit. You know what I mean? It's going to go a long way, because if this was a different running back room, I can't think of a bad one off the top of my head right now, but if this was a different running back room and you were starting Shedeur Sanders week 1 or even week 4 or 5, and it was just heavily relying on Jerome Ford, it's going to be bad if that was the situation. And with that said, it might be bad this year. I think it will be bad this year. But at the very least, if this running back room you can at least hit on your 2 draft picks, even a little bit, it will be all the difference, because you can at least rely on that. You can fall back on that. You can have checkdowns. You can have Judkins making plays after the catch. It can be a huge, huge difference maker for you, because I really can't overstate enough how worried I am, because Kenny Pickett has not shown much in the NFL as far as being a long-term guy. Sanders, I'm not that confident in him being a long-term guy in the NFL. I'm really not. And same with Dillon Gabriel. I didn't even think Gabriel would be drafted till 2 or 3 rounds later than he was. So for now, all of a sudden, this to be a QB battle between Gabriel and Sanders, I'm kind of confused as to where Cleveland thinks this is going. I know people have said as well that it seems like it was more of an owner's call to take Sanders because it was pretty clear in the draft up until that point. It was a kind of retooling, getting those running backs, then getting Gabriel, kind of like one of those situations where you're trying to get some depth and then maybe hit on a quarterback that you believed in, which was Gabriel, but then all of a sudden you take Sanders in round 5 and it's like, okay, well, does he overrule Gabriel and you wasted a third-round pick? Or are you just using that as a trade piece? Like, what was the point of doing it? It feels very out of place when you see their draft and you look at the round 5 selection. You're like, why? Like, why wouldn't you have just done that in the third round? If that was your plan all along, why would you have waited longer after taking Gabriel in the third to then take Sanders? And I think that's what makes this so difficult trying to decipher this quarterback room, because it seems like it was just kind of thrown in there, because I'm sitting here looking at this going, okay, well, how does Sanders fit into this? Or, okay, how does Kenny Pickett fit into this? Is he meant to be the starter week 1, like I said, and then the rookies kind of continue to battle and then you give someone a shot? Or is Gabriel supposed to be the guy week 1 and Sanders is just kind of there as a back? Like, it doesn't really make any sense. And when you pair that with an offense that's, I mean, wildly unproven, to be honest with you. I mean, you have Njoku, Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I can't even say Deontay Johnson. I'm not sure what to even expect from him anymore. So it's a concern. That's why I talked about how badly you need the running back room to be good, because if you don't have consistency there, I'm not sure where you're going to have consistency, because you're not going to have it at quarterback. You're certainly not going to have it at wide receiver, because I'm going to guess that's going to be a lot of changes throughout the season. I don't expect that to be wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 by the time week 1, or by the time week 8 rolls around. I'll tell you that. And so here's the other issue I have with the quarterback situation is you can't really give either Gabriel or or Sanders a fair shot because of the potential short leash that they're on. Because you have to, if you're the coach, right, you have to be thinking, okay, we believe a bit heavier in Gabriel being the guy, or okay, we feel we're more confident in Sanders being the guy. But if you're giving another guy a shot, how long are you going to keep him in there and allow him to mess up before you just pull the plug, pull him out, and throw somebody else in there? But then if he struggles, do you just let him go down with the ship, or do you pull him again and throw somebody else in there? That's why I don't understand taking these 2 rookie quarterbacks, because like Gabriel, even if you took him in the 5th, right? Even if you took Gabriel in the 5th and you didn't take Sanders at all, Gabriel is someone that would need time to develop, and he would need a lot of trusting in the coach, probably the offense to be built around what he can do. It would take a lot, right? But with you also drafting Sanders, it's like, okay, well, do you believe more in him? I guess it's not really a question we'll know the answer to until, time just kind of goes on and we see how the season goes about. But you, as a coach, you have to be thinking what you want to see more in either guy. But how long are you going to give them the chance to prove that before you pull the plug? Does that make sense? Did I explain that well? Hopefully I explained that well. Because in my opinion, if you're trying to give either rookie a shot, well, I mean, what if you're pulling them before they can really find a rhythm, find their footing, and you're just going to throw the next guy in there? And then if he messes up, well, then what? Do you just continue to let him mess up and not give the other rookie a shot? Do you throw Pickett in there and just sit both rookies? I'm so interested to see how the Browns are going to do this, because I don't see a scenario where you do this and by week 14 you're thinking, okay, I feel confident that we gave both quarterbacks that we were fully confident in enough time to really find their footing. I don't think it's possible, to be honest with you. I don't think it's possible. And I think the other issue too is you don't have a great surrounding cast. And that's the other issue as well. Like, okay, maybe Jerry Jeudy has a great year and Tillman's a solid wide receiver too. Even at that, these aren't 2 unbelievable prospects, in my opinion, at quarterback. I don't think these are 2 guys that are going to excel in an offense like this. And that's what I think makes this such a scary spot for the Browns to be in, because there's a lot of unknowns. So look, if you're a Browns fan, you're excited about the season, let me know down below who you think is going to be the quarterback. Who are you most confident in? How do you think Cleveland's going to approach this? Because seriously, I don't understand. I mean, like, for example, right? Let's talk about Bryce Young. Not good at all his rookie season. Struggled very heavily. Second season, at the start, not much better. He gets benched. Then they give him another shot, and all of a sudden things are clicking. But you got to think of all the time that they devoted to him being the guy, trusting him to eventually piece it together, which it seems like he has. He had a phenomenal end to the 2024 season. But then you look at Cleveland, I don't think you can really do that. You can't really give one guy that much time without also feeling like maybe we're leaving something behind in Shedeur Sanders by investing so much into Gabriel, or vice versa. I think this is an issue Cleveland has now created for themselves because also the media focus is all on Sanders. So that's where all the pressure is going to be. It's all going to be we want to see Sanders. We want to see Sanders. But is that the answer? Do you believe more in Gabriel? Because in my opinion, the Sanders pick seems so weird. You have to believe more in Gabriel, or else you wouldn't have taken him in the 3rd round when he was probably going to be there in the 5th anyways. So that's where I'm stuck, because I think you believe more in Gabriel. That's what it seems like to me. But if Sanders is the better quarterback, you got to do what's best for the team. But then if he struggles, do you let him? I mean, that I've already said before. I don't know. There's a lot of questions, and that's all to be factored in with the rest of this offense trying to find their footing. 2 rookie running backs trying to find their minutes and their value and their identity of the team, while also the wide receiver room largely unproven. I mean, these are guys. Look, Deontay Johnson and Jerry Jeudy, they're very solid players. Both have injury history of getting banged up throughout the season. If those guys go down, I mean, it's wraps. I'm going to be honest. It is wraps. No quarterback is going to be succeeding if Jerry Jeudy and Deontay Johnson are out of the equation. I mean, it is going to be throwing the ball to David Njoku 40 times a game and just praying at that point. So that's why I said the running back room has to be so good, because you have to have something to fall back on for when or if these quarterbacks struggle, which I think they will. But let me know down below, what do you guys think is really going to happen with Cleveland's quarterback situation? It's a weird one. It's going to be one to really follow throughout the season. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on this because it's going to heavily impact how I think the season's going to go. I have not decided how many wins I think they're going to have. I'll do that, obviously, in July, August. But yeah, so let me know down below. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, Browns have a lot to figure out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.